Okay, I've added a few elements to this memory objects lab, and I just wanted to show you those. Um, First off is remember you can choose a list, and if you want to make a copy of a list, you can do that by clicking Create New. This is the list that I'm using, that I'm working on. Okay, and first thing that you might notice is that some of mine are colored a little bit darker, like blue. And what I've been doing is, as I've been trying to memorize my basic number objects, I've set up a situation where you can say, you can identify whether you've locked it in. Okay, so whether it's something that you now feel really comfortable with, or whether it's you're still working on it. And that way, my hope is that I'll eventually give you a filter option so that you can filter just the ones you need to work on. And so that way, if you have a quiz or a review or a trainer or something like that, it's going to only show you the ones that you need to keep working on. So what that means is that for you, as you're going through, let's say for me, 58, which is Jack Lambert, is locked in. Okay, that is the number that I think about when I think of, or that is the person I think about when I think of 58. So I click locked in, or I can do it here from the edit section, but I click locked in, and now that colors it. So now that's sort of off my review list, okay? And I'm going to go over some additional methods for how to do this because it is challenging. I mean, unless the number just immediately makes you think of the person or the subject that you're using, then it could be a challenge. So we might combine some things, like maybe use the Mind Palace to put these people in. Once you have your people, and you know that, like for instance, I have Rapunzel in here, or if I have the genie, or if I have Kristoff, or if I have a Po from Kung Fu Panda, then once I know those things, then when I see the number, it makes the connection. But if you don't, like I go down here and I think 47, RK, what is that? I don't remember. Rod Carew. So I don't have that. That's a baseball player. I don't really have that one locked in, whereas I have this one locked in, Marge Simpson. Okay? So this is just where you want to go through and review. But I've tried to set some things up that might be helpful for you. The way I would approach this is go item by item. So go here, and then you can say, all right, I know that's Simba. That is Tigger, Neo, Maleficent, Rapunzel, Linus, Genie. That is Kristoff. This is me. That is Poe, and this is Taylor Swift. All right, so I know that one, so I can kind of see, how do I feel about this? Am I ready? Am I not? You can just sort through. Let's see how we do for 50 to 59. 50 that's L and S. L and S. Which one is that? 50. L and S. So I still am having a little challenge there. Luke Skywalker. And I just got to find a way to lock that in. One of the things that I've done is that in many places I had better, rather than using the major system, I used the custom system. Like this guy, 55, is Joey Porter. He's a Steeler. 52 is Mike Webster. He's a Steeler. Let's see, this is L and T. That's Lawrence Taylor, which is a little weird because Lawrence Taylor, a football player, his number is actually 56, but I just chose to do that. LM, and this is one that I've started to remember now, is Lady Macbeth from the play Macbeth. LR, Lone Ranger. LG, or LJ, Little John. LK is Loki from the movie like the Avengers. Jack Lambert. LP here, or LB, this is Lucille Ball, who's a comedian. And then this one is JS, and this is from a television show, Game of Thrones. Oh, no, I did a different one. John Smith. I was going to think Jon Snow. And I might change that because that one's been one that I've had a little hard time remembering. But this might make it a little easier for you to go through just item by item like that, or 10 by 10. The other thing I want to show you, we've talked about how does this become valuable. We'll take a look here. So I say show person in action. So I have Luke Skywalker holding his cut-off hand. I have Lawrence Taylor barking at people from the sideline. I have Mike Webster guarding the quarterback. I have Lady Macbeth scrubbing out blood. Lone Ranger jumping on his horse Silver. Joey Porter holding up his jersey. Little John fighting with a staff. So I have a person and an action, right? Now, remember how that becomes valuable is, let's say that I'm trying to remember, well, these aren't really dates, but let's say I'm just trying to remember, I'm doing pi or something and I want to remember 5257. So I can type in 5257 and it will take my two objects here and it'll create my memory object. All right. So Mike Webster taking off his horn helmet is the action for Loki. Mike Webster, of course, is the person for Mike Webster. So Mike Webster taking off his horn helmet immediately lets me go, okay, Mike Webster, that's 52. Horn helmet, that's Loki, that's 5K. So once I have that image in my head, it's actually pretty easy to go back to these numbers. So let's say that I was trying to do, let's go back to another one. Let's say that I'm trying to remember that Eisenhower, the president, became president. Well, he actually became president in 1953. He was elected in 52, but 1953. So I get my object, Tinkerbell scrubbing out the blood. Okay, kind of gross, but Tinkerbell is my 19, and 53 is my Lady Macbeth object. So I can think of Eisenhower. If I wanted to, an eyes in a tower, maybe eyes in a tower could be my object, but then I pack that with all kinds of things like dates, etc. And so that's something that we want to play around with. But I do want you to know that you can start testing these things. And this isn't a bad way for you to start reviewing the actual technique, because when you start typing in the numbers here, like let's say 2015, what is that going to be? You can sit there and say 2015, what is that? 20 for me is Ned Stark. 15 is Eisenhower. So this would be Ned Stark writing on a chalkboard. You see? Little test, all right? So good luck. I'm going to keep giving you some techniques for how to remember your numbers. I think it's a good idea to start thinking in terms of a mind palace, maybe 5 rooms with 20 places each, just so you can, in your head, walk around and get familiar with what objects you have. Once you're familiar with the objects, when you see the number, if I know that Marge Simpson is one of my objects, then when I see MS over here, I think Marge Simpson, potentially, okay? So this is, again, it's a technique, but I'm a lot better than I was yesterday, and remember, these are things that we use for the rest of your life, all right? So keep working, keep moving forward, and then evaluate, knock out the ones that you've had locked in. That way you can only focus on the ones that you need help with, all right? Good luck.